Bitcoin is at 44,400, and today I'm giving you the green light to start deploying capital. If you haven't started deploying capital yet, this 44,400 is after the biggest advertising week that Bitcoin has ever seen. We've had some great paid ads, and we've also had some great unpaid ads on Bitcoin. Today we're going to look at those ads, and I'm going to tell you why it's safe for you to start deploying capital. And then I'm also going to show you how to deploy capital, because you need to know systematically how to deploy your capital. It's not just about deploying capital, but it's about having a strategy. And today I'm going to show you how to build a capital deployment strategy. And ultimately, tomorrow we're going to start building a portfolio once we understand that. So let's get this show on the road.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. Get up and get the guy go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
Did you just throw me on there, man? I was like, I wonder if that was playing. I wonder if that was playing.
We got you, bro. We got you.
I always feel like you're keeping me on my toes, man.
We got you again, Hustler. We get you every single day. All right, while you're here, tell us what's in the gaming show later, because you're here.
Well, so we've been making our gains in these play-to-earn economies, and there's some plays that are kind of not as mainstream as Peg, Axie, and Krabata out there that we're going to dig into. Some of them are a little higher risk, some of them are lower risk. So we'll dig into some other economies you can make money within right now that involve play-to-earn and NFTs. Okay,
let's get straight to the point. If I'm a crypto gamer right now, lowest effort, highest return on investment game. What is it? Lowest effort, lowest effort, highest return on investment.
Lowest effort, highest return. I would definitely say it's still Peg Axie in my opinion. You can just rent out your horses completely. Ask Freddie right next to you. How easy is it, Freddie?
Yeah, baby!
You know, I've got $1 billion idea for someone, $1 billion idea. I'll tell you about the $1 billion idea later. I don't want to tell you in front of everyone because these guys will front run the idea and then it's all gone. The idea is going to be gone. You got to know this community, bro. This community front runs you no matter what you do.
Oh, I've seen it. We've seen it with tokens on the show, Ram. We've seen it.
All right, bro, listen, we're going to talk about metaverses in a bit. So prepare yourself to talk about metaverses. We're also going to talk about some other hot narratives. And I'm going to show you why I think it's time for you to start deploying capital. If you're not starting to deploy capital, you may be late to the party. And I don't want you guys late to the party. So today is all about why it is so safe to deploy capital and also how to deploy capital responsibly, that to hedge yourself against the potential downside and the upside that you may get. So you want to deploy capital systematically. You want to do it in a way that if the market goes down, you're still protected. And if the market goes up, you're going to get the majority of the upside. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So if you're new to the channel, then welcome. Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe. We're growing very, very fast, especially given the fact that it's a bear market or has been a bear market. And like this content, remember that there's a QR code on the top of your screen. When I say that, you put the QR code on. Remember, there's a QR code on the top of your screen. And if you scan that QR code, or if you click the referral link below, you can win a full Bitcoin. All you need to do is join KuCoin using our subscriber link, and one lucky winner will walk away with a full Bitcoin. We'll announce the date of the Bitcoin giveaway pretty soon, but get it done because that is where we're going to do a lot of our trading, because KuCoin have got a lot of the degen coins, and it looks like we're getting back into degen season. So rather be prepared, have your accounts open, and then when we tell you that we think it's safe to buy something, at least you'll have an account and you won't have to open an account. Remember also, you don't have to KYC. You don't have to do any of that. So that's one of the reasons why we chose KuCoin. We're also going to sign up one or two other exchanges, especially for the Americans. We've got a good exchange up our sleeve for you guys. All right, let's talk about what's causing this Bitcoin pump. The reason why we are getting a Bitcoin pump is, you see, Fred, what I did there, people told me that I take too long to start the show. So what I did there was I went straight into the show. So 5 minutes and I'm already in the show. You see that?
I like it that way.
You like it that way? Prefer it that way. All right, so let's get into it. The reason for this pump is because we have been seeing the biggest advertising week for Bitcoin that we've ever seen. Literally the biggest advertising week that we've ever seen for Bitcoin. We had the Super Bowl, which had over 117 million viewers and had six crypto advertisements. Yeah, we had 6 crypto advertisements. If you didn't see the advertisements, go and look at the video that I made yesterday where I reviewed the advertisements. We scored the Coinbase advertisement a 9.99999 out of 10, and we gave him an extra 0.000001 for the website crashing and everybody talking about it. So it has been the biggest advertising week that Bitcoin has ever seen. We had the 6 Super Bowl commercials. The Coinbase commercial, the results of the Coinbase commercial were huge. They got 20 million hits after 1 minute of the ad. Get that, 20 million people went to a crypto site after 1 minute of the ad. So a really successful campaign. We then had 5 other ads all talking about crypto, and this must be the biggest week, mainstream media week, that Bitcoin has ever seen. But that's not the only advertisement that we had for Bitcoin. We also had another advertisement for Bitcoin. In fact, before I get there, it looks like not everybody was watching the same Super Bowl, because while everybody that I know was talking about the 6 crypto advertisements, it looks like Joe Biden fell asleep during the Super Bowl. And so what he saw the ads running during last night's Super Bowl were clear. The future of the auto industry is electric. My administration is making historic investments in electric vehicles and is building a nationwide network of EV chargers, creating good-paying union jobs. Bro, did you fall asleep during the Super Bowl? There was no talk of electric vehicles. And if you are going to talk about electric vehicles, well, you should talk about Tesla, because Tesla are the leaders and not GM. Anyway, this is not a Joe Biden rant session. There was another advert for Bitcoin, which was a slightly different advert. It was this advert over here.
First, we are broadening the scope of Canada's anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules so that they cover crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use. These changes cover all forms of transactions, including digital assets, such as cryptocurrencies. The illegal blockades have highlighted the fact that crowdfunding platforms and some of the payment service providers they use are not fully captured under the Proceeds of Crime and Terrorist Financing Act. Our banks and financial institutions are already obligated to report to the Financial Transactions and Reports Analysis Centre of Canada, or FINTRAC. As of today, all crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use must register with FINTRAC, and they must report large and suspicious transactions to FINTRAC.
Okay, now that is what you call the best unpaid advert that has ever run for Bitcoin.
Of Canada's
effectively, in terms of the emergency powers that Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, has got, he has effectively overreached his power and is now targeting the banks and allowing the banks to freeze accounts at their will without any type of consequence if the bank suspects that this may be linked to something that they don't like. This is the best advert that we've ever seen for Bitcoin. And you can see that as soon as she spoke, we had the market down yesterday. We had the market, if you look at the hourly candles yesterday, let's quickly go to the hourly candles. And Bitcoin was trading at about 42,000 yesterday when this happened. So Bitcoin was here. It was here, 42,000 when she spoke, 41,819. And then immediately you saw this green candle over here. You saw this green candle over here as she started speaking. And effectively what we did was we decided to give her the Employee of the Month award at Bitcoin. She's the clear winner of the Employee of the Month award at Bitcoin, because not even an employee that worked at Bitcoin could have done such a good marketing job. Not even an employee at Bitcoin. And the price responded. The price literally responded. In fact, it responded better than all the paid adverts that we had this week. So you had the paid adverts this week where Coinbase spent, I don't know, $16 million on their ad, and you had the FTX advert, and they paid probably $10 million for their ad. Coinbase is also giving away $3 million. And that was all the paid marketing. The unpaid marketing was the marketing that actually had the effect. It's the actions of these political figures that are the best unpaid marketing that we've ever seen for Bitcoin. And they are having the biggest impact on price. Now, this is a big move by Canada. It does feel like the government of Canada is starting to adopt desperate measures, desperate measures to keep their power. And you can only do that for a certain amount of time before eventually the people revolt against the government. And the revolution has kind of begun. Now, the beauty of Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is today one of the biggest brands in the world. It's undoubtedly today one of the most recognized, biggest brands in the entire world. And it has done this without a single cent being spent on marketing by Bitcoin. No marketing department, no adverts ever run. Bitcoin relies on the community to drive it, and on the advertisements that these political leaders create for Bitcoin. And it's working very well. In fact, you saw the results. Right here. But in all seriousness, this is showing why people need Bitcoin. This is one of the big reasons why people need Bitcoin. And if you look at this tweet over here, I think that this summarizes it very well. The thinking behind this tweet is unbelievable. It says that today the tyrannical Canadian government proved that fiat money cannot be owned by its users. It can only be rented. If you want to own your money and immunize yourself to political bullshit, then use Bitcoin. And this is perhaps one of the smartest decisions that you can make. You can tap out of the political system. You can go all into Bitcoin, and you can rent fiat when you need to rent fiat. There are many platforms today that actually even provide you fiat leverage against your Bitcoin. And if you want to tap out of the system, which is exactly what Canadians are doing, there's a hashtag today that's trending saying Bank Run Canada. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's a hashtag called Bank Run Canada that is today trending. And it's about Canadians actually running out of their system and asking for their money so that they can do this, all in response to this idiotic announcement. And Jose Macedo from Delphi Digital says, yesterday an advanced democracy decided to label its opposition as terrorists and freeze their bank account. Now, in this case, the opposition is the normal people, man in the street, hardworking truckers. Financial censorship isn't just a third world problem, not your keys, not your coins. It is the best advertisement that we've ever seen for Bitcoin. And it wasn't the only advertisement that we saw. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, but the BlockFi is out bragging that they've settled with the SEC for $100 million. So effectively, the SEC has given, so BlockFi is an American company. The SEC have now taken an American company, a company that is building in the United States, a company that is housed in the United States, that is growing the United States economy, and offering the United States citizen an opportunity to earn yield above the rate of inflation. The only place that you can earn yield above the rate of inflation is in crypto today. And BlockFi was or is offering Americans a chance to earn yield on their Bitcoin, on their crypto, above the rate of inflation. And the SEC settled with BlockFi, and they have to pay $100 million. They have to pay a $100 million fine, and they are proud of the fact. BlockFi are proud of the fact. In fact, Zach from BlockFi said last night, he said, the settlement was necessary, and he's very excited to have paid $100 million in settlement. And now they are working with the SEC. Now, my question is, if the SEC is really about protecting investors, why not protect investors against inflation? Why not allow investors to earn yield ahead of inflation? Why penalize an American company? And you're penalizing an American watchdog is penalizing an American company because the American company wanted to give the American people an opportunity to earn interest above the inflation rate that the American government has created. The American government printed all of this, and they had to pay $100 million, which is, $100 million is a fortune of money to settle with the SEC, and now they are working with the SEC to get this product to be acceptable. We are getting to the end of this financial system. You can feel it. You can feel, and it's not only me saying it. It is executives from BlackRock. Executives from BlackRock are now saying things like, they're saying, listen to this. He's talking about the end of the financial system. And this is not, a crypto enthusiast. This is an ex-executive from BlackRock, one of the biggest financial institutions in the world.
The global debt bubble is at its peak, and it's becoming apparent, given what's going on across the globe, that we're at the end. And due to that fact, we're going to see lots of crazy things in the financial markets. I think we're going to see the credit markets become unhinged, the equity markets become unhinged. The Fed got a reprieve from COVID when they were able to, the cover of COVID, print 65% more money to keep this thing afloat. But we're at the end days here, and a lot of what you're seeing in the response from global governments is what I believe is setting up a system to, under the guise of medical tyranny, to prevent the riots that are going to ensue once this thing all unwinds. That's my personal belief, and I watch what people do, know what they say. The global...
Okay, now that's not a crypto person talking. This is a former executive of BlackRock also talking about the fact that a great reset may actually start coming because governments are getting desperate. What we saw in Canada yesterday is governments getting desperate. And we're getting to that point now. We're getting to that point now where it's like slowly, and then all of a sudden it happens very, very, very suddenly. We're almost at that suddenly phase. And again, it's not only us crypto people that are feeling it, it's people beyond that. And the truth is that if you're smart and you believe in these narratives and you're willing to put your money where your mouth is, there's actually two trades that you can make either way. Suzu said it very brilliantly. He said, look, the short PayPal, long Ethereum continues to do well. And he actually called up the data. And what you can see is that the Ethereum trade is this trade over here, and the white trade is the PayPal trade. And if you decided that you wanted to tap out of the existing system and you wanted to tap into the new system, what you can do is you could have sold PayPal and you could have bought Ethereum. And so for each side of this, there's actually two trades. You can tap out of the old financial system and you can buy into the new system. You can tap out of the centralized metaverse by shorting Facebook, and you can go long or buy the new narrative. So for every narrative, there's actually two trades. It is sell the old, go short on the old, and go long on the new. And if you're a degen, then you can effectively ride both. Well, you can ride the one cycle down and you can ride the other cycle up. So two trades for everything. I also love this tweet over here. This was Nayb Bukele. Now, they always talk to him about being like a third world, he's a third world leader, he's a third world government, etc., etc. And he says, are these the people who like to give lessons to other countries about democracy and freedom? This is one of the top ranking countries in the democracy index. Your credibility on these topics is absolutely worth it. He's right. I mean, he's right. Another thing that we saw last night is we saw this narrative by the US media that Ukraine was about to get attacked by Russia. And we actually saw a lot of videos showing us that Russia was actually about to invade Ukraine. Very, very, very scary videos that Russia was about to invade Ukraine. And to be honest, anyone who would have seen this, anyone who would have seen these videos would have thought that Russia is truly about to invade Ukraine. I saw these videos, I got very scared. It looked like the Western media were creating this narrative that Russia was about to invade Ukraine. And then the Ukrainian president actually responded, and he basically said, look, there was a big article saying, his name is Zelensky, and he said, Ukraine will be attacked by Russia on Wednesday. I'm not sure since when countries make announcements. Look, we'll be attacking you at 12 o'clock Wednesday. We'll tell you exactly where we're going to be attacking you. And so what he did was he kind of created a parody, and he said, look, everyone's saying that we are going to be attacked. Well, we're going to actually take the day off and call this a day of unity, and we're going to put up flags and whatever else. And again, it looks like this whole narrative of the US or the Western media trying to pump up this war narrative that is going on, where the people in Ukraine and Russia are kind of going, well, really, is there really a war? And it looks like the tensions have come down a bit. Like you're seeing that that they have withdrawn. Let me see if I can find you guys a tweet here. Yeah, you see Walter Bloomberg eventually later on today said Russia showed a video of army vehicles loaded for return. It looked like it was just a drill, and after the drill, He's dramatic. So bottom line is, it looks like the Russia-Ukraine tensions have de-escalated, and it looks like we're in the new cycle. And you can see it. You can see if you look at the futures, the S&P futures are up 61.5% on this de-escalation narrative. I said to you guys yesterday, the escalation narrative was already priced in. What wasn't priced in is a de-escalation narrative. And this is exactly what we're looking at. We're looking at a de-escalation narrative now, powering the markets. And no matter which way you look at it, we are now firmly part of this new cycle. We spoke about this new cycle. We spoke about becoming cyclists. Freddie, is there anything on the website about becoming cyclists? Let's see what's on the website. There must be something on the website about becoming cyclists. Preparing your portfolio. They talk about tell us about this before we talk about the new cycle. Tell us about this giveaway, this Exosama. What is Exosama? Why is it on the website? What are we giving away?
So I had a catch up with Donnie a couple of weeks ago. Sorry, I've just muted you for a second. And he was telling me about his project, and I was quite interested. I think as a channel, we were diving into NFT 2.0s and the concept, and really kind of doing a deep dive as a channel and writing a lot of content on it. And he offered to give away how to get yourself an Exosama NFT. You're going to have to read the article right to the end. Best you do that, because they are limited and the best comments win. But basically, Exosama is an NFT 2.0 play. And for those who don't know what NFT 2.0s are, it's basically it's upgradable, changeable NFT features. So you can use cosmetics within your NFT. And although you receive one that has a rarity, you can actually upgrade the rarity of your NFT. So if you get one that's not that great, you can actually slowly over time build your character. But the interesting thing is that this NFT character is you're going to be able to use them within a metaverse soon enough. So it's very exciting. Lots of exciting things coming from Donnie. And I suggest you guys read the article.
NFT, you go to the website. Did you go to the website to get the NFT? You comment on the article, you read the article, you comment on the article. Best comment wins. Funniest comment wins. Best comment wins. All right, cool. How many got? 5 NFTs. Okay, 1 for me, 1 for you, and 3 for the community.
Yes.
Okay, cool. 1 for me, 1 for you, and 3 for the community. Also, don't forget that there is a story about the best crypto advert ever. We have spoken about it, and I'm going to show you today how to prepare your portfolio and why it's time to prepare your portfolio. In fact, let me tell you now why I think it's time for you guys to start preparing your portfolio. You ready? You ready?
Yes.
Let's do this. Okay, so why do I think that it's time to start preparing your portfolio? I'll tell you very simply why I think it's time to start preparing your portfolio. There are a lot of people that are sitting on the sidelines, and the ones that are sitting on the sidelines are missing the point. And you can see it in the technicals and you can see it in the fundamentals. When I look at the technicals and I look at the Bitcoin technicals over here, let me go back to the daily chart, just makes it a lot easier. But when I look at the technicals, you can see that on the technical levels, Bitcoin is now broken through the resistance level. Similar to this period over here, we had a try for the retest, and then we continued to go up. That was the last cycle. And a lot of people were riding the cycle all the way up. Some people got into the cycle over here and then rode a little bit of the way up, thought they were geniuses, and then they went all the way down. What you can see today is you can see that we've had a breakthrough. Then we've had possibly something similar to this over here, which is the retest. And now it looks like we're climbing back up again. So from a technical point of view, you can kind of see that the new cycle has started. You can see that the new cycle has started. Now, you have an option. The one option is for you to get onto the cycle somewhere over here. But then you've got very limited upside. The other option is for you to take a different kind of approach on your portfolios. And if you take a different kind of approach in your portfolios, if you start investing in a safe portfolio, then you can get all the upside. And if you get downside, well, it just means that you delay the growth of your portfolio for a little bit. Now, the worst thing that you can do is get in over here. So you got to start deploying capital quite low in the cycle. If you didn't start over here, that's cool. Picking a bottom is very difficult. But when you've got confirmation of the trend line over here, and you've got the potential retest, and maybe we'll start getting more of a retest, you do feel, you can't help but feel that it may be time to actually start getting back into the market. Now, the fundamentals are also showing this. So if you look at the on-chain data, if you take the on-chain data and you take the stable coin supply ratio, what you can see is that the stablecoin supply ratio oscillates between positive and negative. And you can see that usually in the periods where the stablecoin supply ratio is at the lowest, that's the accumulation phase, usually before a big spike. And you can see this in every single one of the Bitcoin price rises. Here we go. Down, the price then goes up. Accumulation, price goes up. Accumulation over here, price goes up. Accumulation over here, price goes up. Accumulation over here, price has started to go up. So again, it does look both from the on-chain metrics and from the technical metrics that it may be the beginning. You see, they both talk to the beginning of this cycling narrative. Now, again, you can choose to cycle only for the last part of the ride, but then you need to get off your bicycle over here. You know, or you can join the peloton, you can join us, and we can start riding this ride together. Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to go down. I'm not saying that the market's not going to go down, because the market may go down again. But I am saying that I think that we're at a point right now where the risk-return trade-off of not being in the market versus being in the market is too high. Right now, we may not be at the bottom, but we're still 30% below the top, and we're 30% above the bottom. So we're 30% below the all-time high, which was 69,000, and we're 30% above the bottom. So you're kind of midway between the top and the bottom. You're not trying to catch a bottom anymore. In fact, you've broken the trend, but we may carry on going down. But for me, the risk-return trade-off now is just something that's probably worth investing in. And you can see that Bitcoin has started to respond very differently to the news. That's one of the big telltale signs of whether you're in an investable bull market or whether you're still in a decline market. You remember that in the bear market, Bitcoin responds to bad news only, and when you get good news, the price continues to go down. There was actually a very good tweet that summarized it. I'll try and find it for you. It was, I think this, yeah, in a bull market, bad news, price goes up. Good news, price goes up. We're seeing that right now. In a bear market, bad news, price goes down. Good news, price goes down. Where are we now? Bad news, inflation, price goes up. Bad news, Russia, Ukraine, price goes up. Bad news, Canada, price goes up. Good news, price goes up. So it feels like the news cycle is also slightly different, and we're in a different cycle. We're in a different cycle. Now again, you can sit on the sidelines, and you can wait for confirmation on the confirmation of the confirmation. Okay, you can wait for confirmation of the confirmation on the confirmation, or you can start dollar cost averaging now, but start dollar cost averaging into what Fabcoin says, and that is into good tokens. And if you're going to get into good tokens, make sure that you're in tokens that will survive and do okay during a down market in case the market has to go back down, but do give you most of the upside. That's the trick here. The trick is to be in tokens that will give you most of the upside, but will protect you in the downside. They will protect you in the downside. And the other thing that you got to do is you got to buy tokens that if we are wrong with our timing, let's say hypothetically, let's say we may be wrong, and we could be wrong, and we are wrong with our timing, and the market goes down for one more leg, and we continue with one more down leg, you got to buy tokens that when the market does recover, they are going to be the ones that recover with you. So you got to be in that kind of market. You got to be in that kind of market. And that's what I want to show you guys today. I want to show you guys how to do that. I want to show you guys how to choose the tokens that you're going to get and effectively start building a portfolio. Let's start building a portfolio. Tomorrow we'll actually build the actual portfolio. But today I want to give you the thinking behind building a portfolio, because you got to know how to do it. I mean, another thing, yesterday, what happened with the news narrative of the emergency Fed rate hike? Anyone hear anything? No, because there was nothing bigger, because we're getting 2 interest rate hikes of 0.5 and 0.5, and that's pretty much it, okay? This is pretty much how I feel about this. If you believe you have more to lose than gain, then you should be risk off. If you believe that you have more to gain than to lose right now, then you should be risk on. So that's exactly what it's about. Do you believe right now, as it stands, that you have more to lose or more to gain by deploying money? I think that you have way more to gain right now than to lose right now. Yes, I know that that the price has gone up quite a bit, but we are 30% above the bottom and we're 30% below the top. Usually when we get these cycles, you're getting a higher high. Over time, you're getting a higher high. That high was about 64,000. That high was 69,000. Even if this pattern just continues like this, the next high will probably be 75,000, maybe 80,000. It does feel like there's more to gain than to lose by investing in the market right now, if you invest correctly. You can't just invest. You've got to invest correctly. You've got to invest in the right narratives. The other reason why you probably want to start investing in the market is because if you look at the macroeconomic picture, Lynn Alden says it actually quite well. She says, being a market bear is hard in this era because being a market bear means that they are shorting assets against the unit of account that is increasing in supply of 8% per year in average. In other words, what she's saying is by not being in the market or by shorting this market, you're actually shorting against the tide, because just by virtue of inflation, prices should go up by 8%. If nothing else changes, prices will go up by 8%. Now, that's not a market that you want to be uninvested in. That's a market that you want to be invested in, because just by being in the market, by being out the market, you're losing 8% a year. So be in the market and you're getting 8% a year probably for free. That is the narrative. That is the narrative that I'm following. That is why I think that it's probably time to start getting risk on than risk off. And if you are going to be risk on, then I think that what you should do is you should do it systematically. Don't do it unsystematically. Make sure that if you want to be risk on, and I think you should be risk on, or at least my switch went on from risk off to risk on a while back. If yours hasn't, well, the question is, what are you waiting for? And I'm not saying that you should go all in, but all the signs are there. And if you're sitting on the sidelines, well, I think you may join us over here for the last part of the ride, and it's going to be pretty sad. Again, I'm not saying go all in. I'm saying the market could continue to go down, but there's much more to gain right now than there is to lose. And that's really why I think it's time that we should be deploying. And I think we should be deploying systematically. So then the next question is, well, how do you deploy systematically? Well, it's simple. We've created a simple portfolio builder for you guys. And it's really, really, really simple. It's really, really, really simple. If you want to build a portfolio, you kind of have to follow 5 very easy steps. First step is you have to be a cyclist. You have to look at the cycle and you say to yourself, do I believe that I want to get into the cycle now, given what I know about the cycle? Now, you decide. If you, given all the information that you have from this channel, from other channels, from BitBoy's channel, because not from BitBoy's channel, from all the other channels, you decide where you want to be in the market. If you think that this is a good time to get in, and if you buy this theory that the cycle has actually turned specifically for Bitcoin, and I'll show you in a second why it may have just turned for Bitcoin, then maybe now is a good time to get in. Then you got to ask yourself, okay, now that I've decided that I'm trying to get into the market and I'm ready to start cycling, I'm trying to get onto the bike, then you ask yourself, okay, what's my risk profile? How much risk am I willing to take? The more risk you're willing to take, the more degen and the more risky you can go. The less risk, the more towards Bitcoin. So you just pick where you want to go. If you want to go completely degen, go into the smaller altcoins. If you want to go less degen, go into the major altcoins. If you want to be just in the market, dip your toes in, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a couple of the layer ones. So the first step is decide She's saying music, the next narrative. Oh, okay. I thought you wanted music. First is decide that you want to get on the bike and you want to be a cyclist. Then choose the risk profile that best suits you. Once you've got the risk profile that best suits you, pick the narratives that you think are going to win. Pick the narratives that you think are going to win. Once you've picked the narratives, pick the tokens. And then once you've picked the tokens, then go and backtest your Banter picks. Okay, so backtest your picks. So first, get on the bike, decide what the risk profile is of your ride, then start picking the heels or the narratives that you want to be riding, then pick the actual tokens, and then test your picks against some metrics. And I'll show you exactly how I would do it. Okay, so the first thing is, let's go through step by step. One is it the right time to be getting on the bike? I think I've shown you. I think I've showed you that given the technicals, given the on-chain data, given the fact that right now I think you probably has more to gain than to lose by being in the market, I think for me, time to start deploying if you haven't already started deploying. All right, cool. Once you've decided that you're actually going to get on the bike and you're going to join the peloton and you're going to start riding with us, then the next thing is identify your risk profile. I'm going to give you guys a portfolio tomorrow, which is quite a high risk portfolio, because I know that you guys are pretty degen. And you can decide where to allocate your capital. You can either allocate your capital more towards the Bitcoin side or the other side. Then after that, let's look at the narratives, because that's important. The most important part is to actually pick the narratives. And there are 5 narratives that I think are pretty much good bets right now. And I want to show you those narratives before we start selecting tokens. Today we're going to select the narratives. Tomorrow we're going to select the tokens. So she says, why tomorrow now? Because we're building this up. We're building this up. All right, so let's look at the narratives that we are buying. And I think there are 5 narratives that we are buying. The first narrative right now that I think it's super, super, super safe to start buying is the store of value narrative. So this Bitcoin store of value narrative, anti-inflation hedge, tap out from the risk of government or political shenanigans, that narrative is starting to play. And that is because there's becoming a very interesting dynamic now in Bitcoin. Bitcoin was trading as a risk-on asset, but it's also now starting to trade as a risk-off asset. So this is a tweet and a narrative which I've been following all day. It says, Bitcoin will not always trade like a risk-on asset. A small but rapidly growing minority of well-informed people already understand it to be the world's true risk-off asset. When the minority becomes the majority, the world-changing flippening will occur. And that whole narrative around risk-on and risk-off is actually starting to happen. Will Clemente says, the most pivotal moment in Bitcoin's history will be when it's flocked to instead of the US dollar in a time of uncertainty. And we're starting to see that now. We saw that yesterday with Canada. We're starting to see that now with the Ukraine thing. You had the Ukraine thing, and people started buying Bitcoin instead of selling it. What happened today won't happen tomorrow, but when it does, it will trigger the hyper monetization of Bitcoin. Then Willy Woo says, what you're talking is a swinging of the pendulum. And what he says is Bitcoin is the world's first risk-on safe haven asset. So that's the narrative that's forming around Bitcoin. That's why, for me, the risk narrative, the store of value narrative is certainly one that I'm going to invest in. There are 4 other narratives that I'm comfortable to invest in. The next narrative that I'm comfortable to invest in is layer 1s. I've said to you guys before, smart contract power. Smart contract power is something that we'll need. And whether you get it in a layer 1 or whether you get it in a layer 2, whether you get it in a Polygon or an Ethereum or an Avalanche or a Solana, for me, layer 1s are a good bet. Right now, you can be buying layer 1s. If you get it wrong, then you'll just wait for the next cycle. If you get it right, and these layer 1s do explode, well, then you're going to ride the cycle up the top. So layer 1 is a great narrative to be investing in. The other narrative that I'd be investing in is DeFi, and specifically institutional DeFi. In environments where interest rates are going up and inflation is at 7.5%, well, institutions are going to come to DeFi, and family offices and high net worth individuals are going to come to DeFi. They're going to come to DeFi and they're going to be looking for places to put their money. So if you're smart, you're going to preempt that narrative and you're going to start investing ahead of them. Investing in things like Luna, Terra, because they can get 20% on Anchor Protocol, Credo for multi-party computation, Spool, and a whole lot of others. If you can set yourself up for the institutional DeFi narrative and you buy safe bets that will work, well, then you're taking a bet on DeFi. And if you're taking a bet on DeFi, whether that happens now in the next 3 months, or as Isabella says, it's a matter of time, doesn't matter. And that's why I think that you can start investing in DeFi. The next narrative that I think you can start investing in is the decentralized metaverse. I think you should go long the decentralized metaverse and short the centralized metaverse. And there are many, many metaverse players, and I'm sure Hustle, in fact, we should get Hustle to give us the 5 best metaverse investments that can be made. Hustle, bro, you got some homework to do. We need like the 5 best metaverse narratives, or 5 best metaverse investments, because the best trade right now is to go long the narrative, long the decentralized metaverse and short the centralized metaverse.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I could give you a top 5 list, but let's save it for the juicy portfolio. Let's save it for the juicy portfolio.
I'll save it, yeah, but don't do it now. But just remember when you do it, just remember Victoria VR, bro. Just don't do it now, but remember Victoria VR. Trust me, you'll see. Just give it time. The Dell partnership is going to come online, but we need to write an article. And we need to get the 5 best metaverse players out there. All right, the next narrative that you should be investing in is privacy. We're seeing more and more why privacy is important. And if you're not investing in privacy yet, you're going to wait for the privacy narrative to explode before you invest in privacy. And if you want to invest in privacy, there's not very many options. You can invest in Tornado Cash, you can invest in Secret, you can invest in Oasis Labs, you can kind of invest in ThorChain because of the decentralized nature, but you need to invest in narratives. And that's exactly it. If you pick the narratives and start investing in the tokens, then you're 3/4 of the way there. And then the last thing that you have to do is then you have to pick your tokens and then test your picks. And what I mean by test your picks, and I'll show you this tomorrow. But the idea is that once you have selected tokens, then just make sure that the smart money is backing the same tokens that you're backing. And it's a very easy way to do it. Most of these smart money portfolios are kind of public. And so what you can do is you can look at the smart money and you can say, look, I want to buy a whole lot of tokens, but which other smart money is investing this, right? Which other smart money is following the same things that I'm doing? So if you're in gaming, you kind of ask yourself, look, is Animoca Brands doing the same thing that I'm doing? Or are the big VCs doing what I'm doing? If you're in DeFi, you should probably go and evaluate yourselves against people like Delphi Digital. So you go and buy your tokens, and then you go and look at Delphi Digital's portfolio and say, are they investing in similar tokens or in a similar narrative? And if they are, well, then you kind of say to yourself, hold on, maybe this is good. Maybe this is good. So it's very simple. It's very simple. If you're ready to deploy capital and you're ready to get onto your bike, well, then decide which narrative you want to play in, and then choose your risk profile, pick your narratives, pick your tokens, and then backtest your assumptions against what the smart money is doing. And if all of those check, well, then just sit back and watch your portfolio grow. You got it? Tomorrow we build a portfolio. We take all these principles and tomorrow we actually build a few portfolios. Tomorrow we'll build a portfolio. Maybe Thursday we'll build a portfolio. We'll just keep building portfolios. Got it? Amazing. See you tomorrow. Before I let you go though, let's quickly get Hustle back. Hustle, remind us again, what's on the gaming show today?
We're going over lower key passive play to earn opportunities out there. So we all know, I've discussed the peg axes and the curbatas or the DeFi kingdoms. So we're going to go under that. We're going to look at the lower plays, so the stuff that's up and coming or higher risk, right? But high risk comes high reward. So we'll go over some passive opportunities in play to earn today.
Amazing, brother. See you in 3 hours.
Absolutely, 3 hours.
Amazing. And remember that if you haven't got a KuCoin account and if you want a KuCoin account and you want to stand a chance to win a Bitcoin, all you need to do is scan our QR code on the top of the screen and right here. I mean, is this not the best advert that you've ever seen in your entire lives? It took us months of planning. Cost us $7 million to make this ad. It did cost us $7 million. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends.